This is the bottom and top assemblies for a Grundfos dosing pump, DDA, DDE, DDC. These are the two check valves, upper and lower, that typically will cause some issues, maybe get plugged with some product or some little debris in the check valves. And this is the procedure for cleaning the top assembly. I've already shown the bottom one, so we'll just set the bottom one aside and we'll take the top one apart. Now it simply is, it's got an arrow going up just like the other one had an arrow going into the bottom of the pump. This one's got an arrow going out of the top of the pump. So we're just going to take these O-rings off, and these are two different, slightly different sized O-rings, so you can't really get them mixed up because they won't go in. They look pretty close, but they're just a little bit different in size. So the first thing that you notice is this is loose. Does it need to be taken apart? No, it doesn't, and I'll show you in a minute. Now that is as the arrow is pointing, this is the bottom, this is the one that's going into the pump, so it's going to go, this is the pump head, it's going to be threaded into the pump. So this check valve here, we can take that out and just simply pop that seat out, and there's the ceramic ball. So that assembly is relatively free, except for there's a second check valve in here, and that one takes a needle nose pliers just to pull that assembly out. Just gently pull it. You shouldn't have to pull it very hard, but again, before I pull this out, I want to make a note of this arrow pointing this way, and on this assembly here, there is also an arrow pointing this way. So you can't really put it in wrong when you put it back together. So that's just going to come apart like that. And when I take that assembly apart, you see that is totally empty now. This is the part that was loose, and we don't need, it's totally empty. See right through it. Okay. So maybe just flip that over just to make sure it stays in the order we're taking it apart. And again, these two ceramics and seats are the same, so you can get them mixed up, and it's not going to matter. Just make sure that everything is nice and clean. And there you see the assembly. That's the parts for the disassembled for the top assembly. So I'm just going to do that and put everything back together and just pop that, clean everything naturally, because you're going to have some cleaned debris. Now normally you might think, well, it's got to go in this way. No, it can't, because if you look at the arrow and look at this arrow, it's got to go in like that. Get the arrows pointing both the same way. So there's the top assembly where this nut would get threaded onto your tubing here. Okay, and this is the pump end. It gets threaded into the top of the pump, and simply like that. Now this is the larger O-ring on this end, and this is the smaller O-ring that'll fit in that groove. The larger O-ring on the other end won't fit in that groove. And that's basically her. It's pretty simple, straightforward. It looks complicated, but some guys get mixed up with, they don't realize that there's two check valves in this head assembly.